All right, and we're live with City of the Gods using the Open Legend RPG system. So welcome all our viewers out there. I think we had a new follow. Was that Shadow Flare? Unless that hasn't updated while we were just getting started there. So thank you for the follow. So we'll get started here. Let me begin by thanking a few people, sponsors and supporters. Of course, the Patreon supporters and the Twitch subscribers. You guys help make this Greyhawk channel a possibility. You help keep the lights on, as you could say. There's over 20 shows. Wow, that is always so loud. Thank you, Tabletop Fables, for rating. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, patrons and Twitch subscribers, you guys help make this happen. All the 20 plus shows that are happening each week here on the Greyhawk channel. Also, Roll20, they are a supporter. They allow a lot of the games to function via the rolls online and the virtual tabletop, which you're seeing right now. And speaking of that, you'll notice a very awesome desert background that was totally there last week, 100% there. That is from Heroic Maps. They're our official battle map sponsor. I thought I had grabbed it last week, but I hadn't. But I got it this week, as well as some other ones set up. But they have some really awesome maps. They have over 300 battle maps set up with buildings, without buildings, different settings to things like sci-fi and fantasy and all that sort of stuff that you can find all over on Drive-Thru RPG. Tabletop Loot is also a sponsor, and if you go over there and purchase dice from them, if you enter in Greyhawk, you can get 15% off your dice order, and they already have great prices on dice, so that's even better. The G and the H are capitalized, at least in the thing that I see here. So that's GREYHAWK, so Greyhawk. And for all of you Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers, if you jump over to our Discord, which everybody feel free to jump over to our Discord at the Greyhawk channel. It's you can get lots of good information if you have a question about the Greyhawk setting, about this or that. You can just head right over there and people will be able to answer your questions. But if you are a subscriber or a supporter, you can get codes for both Rue Ink and Cantrip Candles to get discounts when you're buying stuff from them. Rue Ink, Devin Rue is a cartographer. She is awesome. You might have seen some of her maps on Critical Role. And, she actually makes a lot of stuff available for free in black and white versions of her maps, which are just as equally awesome. And she has a cartography class there, so that's cool. And then Cantrip Candles are really good smelling candles. I think last week we were talking about the bread one that smells really good. I like the library one. I think Casey has a few right there. Yep, they're very good quality inks. Yeah, they're inks now. They're really good quality candles, and they make a good product and good service. So. Thanks to all of that. And then we've got some players here today. We've got a few without cameras because of technical issues or things that are going on. But we'll go ahead and start hopefully with Eris.
Yeah, I'm still here. Woo! This seems to be helping. Hello, I'm Eris Savad. I'm invisible today, but just real quick, the picture you see in replace of my camera is actually by one of my favorite artists, Linda Lithian, and I probably pronounced that wrong. I will put a link to her Twitter in chat so you can actually see more of her work because she is freaking amazing. So go check her out. And I make ice trays and bags. I do a lot of hula hooping and sewing of mugs, and I play a lot of these. So yeah. Today I'm playing Talia, and she is just wonderful. I love her so much. Okay, that's it.
All right. Then we've got Time Bust, who is no voice today. We'll be chatting. I almost forgot that myself. So as you can see in the chat there, he is Belial Leica. and he is. They are playing Luthka, which is the vindictive. Who there's two people on his bad list right now in game: Druid, Ranger, Barbarian, and then we've got Casey.
Hi, I'm Casey, KCH. I'm known throughout the internets as the chick that lobs free graphics of people. And I'm playing the Necro Ninja known as Roach today.
And then we have D-Sword.
Hi everyone, I am D-Sword, Derek Sword. You can find me on Twitter at DSword16. There I post about RPGs, dogs, travel, lots of fun stuff. I don't necessarily make anything, but I do want to take this moment to say support small creators because they are awesome, especially the small creators that we have in our game because they are amazing. They do amazing work. I will be coming back as Oryon, the Dragonborn, even though Dragonborn may not exist in Greyhawk, Paladin Protective Fighter. Yeah, we're just going to slide right over that. Yeah, looking forward to another week of gaming.
Wait, what did you mess up on there? I think I missed it.
Missed what, the Dragonborns don't exist in Greyhawk?
I thought we had found something where they actually do.
You know, yeah. It's like if you find 100 sources against something, but you find one source for it.
Right.
Take that one source.
You know.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're going to take the one thing that says that they do.
He's a sorceress messed with a kobold and made them a bit more giant.
Permanent enlargement spell.
Yeah, permanent enlargement spell. There you go. That's clearly what happened. But yeah, so I am Great Mustache, and I am the DM for this crazy game. As we are exploring original, one of the first D&D settings, locales of Blackmoor. Actually going through the official module DA3 for those who might know it. And I do a lot of stuff with Open Legend. And yeah, that's pretty much me. I do have a mustache. People have told me anyways. I don't know if I believe them or not, but supposedly I do have one. So is there a player who would like to recap for us anything that happened last week?
I'll give it a shot. It's not going to be one of my fancy pre-written ones, but I'll try to do a typical summary. So what happened was we got out of Benbow's whatever that was. Was it a shop? It was like an inn tavern thing?
Yeah, it was an inn.
Okay. So we got out of there and we hit the road and we started traveling across the Eastern Hack in order to reach the Valley of the Gods. Am I getting his names right?
Yeah, you're good so far.
The City of the Gods is nestled in the Valley of the Gods. There's nothing but steps, like rocky plains and clay and stuff from here to there. So it's very open. And while we were, last time what happened was with the tree and the blaster. That happened. Oh no, okay. Yep. This is why I pre-write these things. We acquired some pieces of high magic weaponry utensils from this egg thing that we were sent to go examine and check out. Roach handed them over to Talia to kind of check them out. But while she was playing with the blaster that they found, Roach walked away to go talk to some other people about some stuff. And then Talia gave it to Oryon, and Oryon messed with it. And they collectively decided that they were going to test it out on a tree. And so they did, and it had the explosive capabilities of a fireball. And there was a guy behind the tree, and it was a fiasco. Eventually, everyone was okay in the end, but now Luthka really doesn't like Oryon very much for hurting that tree for no reason. Luthka was able to save the tree, though, for the record. We were crossing the plains on the way there, and we ran into a silhouette. And with the binocular things that we also were able to salvage from the egg ship thing, we could tell that it was an adult blue dragon headed straight for us, or a young adult blue dragon headed straight for us. We didn't have anything around to help us hide or cover or anything like that, so what we did is me and Talia ended up doing a combination of using both of our extraordinary abilities, our magics, and she was able to obfuscate us while I was able to dig us a little bit of a trench to get down into. And only by doing that were we able to save ourselves from having a confrontation with a freaking blue dragon, which was not planned. It just, that's the way that things rolled. And then we were getting pretty close to the entrance of the valley when these sand creatures popped up out of the ground and started attacking us. They were not easy to defeat. Let's see what happened. The Baron was actually kind of the MVP. Actually, it was between the Baron and Glomus who were the MVPs for that fight, I think. But the Baron kept rolling real high, and now we know how much damage he deals, and it's terrifying.
I'm still mad that my ally NPCs rolled high, but my enemy NPCs did not.
I'm cool with that. I think we're all cool with that. Derek, yeah, we're cool with that? Yeah, yep. So I think that's where we left off, is we just stopped fighting. We just ended those beasts. Don't know where they came from, or if they're actually ended, or what's up with them.
Yeah, we basically ended right as the fight concluded. And yeah, it was an interesting fight, to be sure. You have your two allies with you, Brother Richard and the Baron, who are going with you on this mission to the City of the Gods to try and acquire allies, to try and set up a meeting to let them be allies with you in this coming war with these Froggers, who you're not really sure. Froggers is not right. That is a game. Froggies. So that's kind of what this whole thing is here. You guys travel back in time roughly 3,000 or 4,000 years. You're not quite sure. And part of the way for them to allow you to get back home is by helping do this. Yeah, it's true. Frogger could exist in this time. Who knows? Interestingly enough, you guys approach a road, and there are lots of carts, cars passing by, and no. But, so yeah, that's where we come in. Let me switch back to where you guys left off here. In this wonderful map from Heroic Maps here. So yeah, there were these three creatures that popped up. They're seemingly made of dust. As far as you could tell in this battle you had, it is nighttime because you guys have decided to travel by night while you're in the desert, because both it's cooler that way and that way you can avoid detection a little bit easier. You are traveling at a normal pace, which doesn't allow you to sneak, but since you're already traveling by night, you figure that'll make up for it, and you can still make fairly good time here. But yeah, you encountered these things. They have since either blown away, parts of them blown away in the wind, or collected in little piles where they dropped. But before we do that, before we begin, we need to award some legend points. So in open legend, when players use their flaws to either their or the party's detriment, or it complicates the situation or makes the situation more interesting, they can earn legend points, and legend points basically gives them advantage for their dice, as well as a +1 modifier, which is quite nice. So, and because I was just so excited to be with these awesome people, I forgot for the last 2 sessions to do. Actually, maybe the last 3 sessions. This is episode 4. So, did anybody invoke their flaws in any way in the last 2 sessions?
So much has happened in the last 2 sessions.
It's very true. It is very true. Let me bring up my list of all you crazy people. Yeah, so I know there was a couple, but let me double check real quick. Oh, did I not copy them for Roach yet? Put everybody else's but Roach's. I guess Roach isn't very helpful. Yeah, you have, Leica, you have definitely been vengeful. The last couple, which the party had to dance around to quickly attempt to resolve. So I say go ahead and mark down 2 legend points for yourself for that.
I tried to be brash when I first met Roach, but I'll leave that up for judgment on that one.
Yeah, I think the way that whole interaction happened, it could have gone smoother if you hadn't been so brash with it, if you hadn't tried to exert yourself so much. So yeah, you can mark a legend point for that. Yeah, I got those. Let me bring up Roach's character sheet here.
For Talia, her flaws are absent-minded and naive, and I've more been using that as reasons why she doesn't do so well on certain things. So I'm not going to. I'm not going to say that she's done anything that particularly puts them in danger because of it.
We blew up a tree and a guy. I think maybe a little bit of naivete went towards that.
Yeah, just you hadn't quite fully analyzed it, and you just handed it over to him. So I think that qualifies for at least a legend point.
All right, fine. That was more scientific process in my eyes, but sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could have done a little more study on it. And I don't know if your flaws have specifically come into effect yet for Roach.
Well, there was that one time in episode 1 where my arm flew off because of the short stop, and then I had
that's
tried
true.
to turn.
Yeah, and that
because it wasn't quite attached yet. But that was episode 1, not in the past 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, but you didn't get it for that episode, so you can mark that down. And then, does anybody want to recommend some legend points for good role play that occurred during any of the past sessions? Things that you particularly enjoyed from another player?
I got 2 things.
Okay.
One for Talia, because I think Eris has done a phenomenal job with acting. I think it's very difficult to do that running train of thought, but using your mouth to say the things that enter your mind at the same time. And she does that very, very well.
All right. Yeah, so Talia, you can mark down another legend point.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad my camera's off because I'm blushing furiously right now.
Oh, shucks. I'm glad it's off too, because otherwise I'd start blushing. And then the other one was going to be for Luthka's control over Glomus in the last 2 sessions. Because initially we didn't see a whole bunch of Glomus, and we actually even forgot that he existed. But I think that I have been seeing the character as a actual character in the last 2 episodes, and I will no longer be capable of forgetting about that little dude.
Yeah,
I would have to second that.
Okay. So yeah, you can mark down another one there for Luthka. By the way, just so that you're aware, your companion can also earn legend points. So I don't know if you've given your companion flaws. I forgot to double check that, but technically your companions can earn legend points as well. So anybody else?
Yeah, actually, I want to throw one Luthka's way as well, because I think that they're especially super considerate of what the character is. You know, the consideration to maintain being a bear because orcs might not be viewed properly, and then staying in the stables, the constant vengeful thoughts. It's the character's been a lot different than I thought it would be. It's pretty awesome, and definitely one to Casey as well. Roach is once again, it's not one of those traditional characters. It's not something you'd find in the player's handbook of D&D or even Open Legend. It's something she created for herself, and she's maintained this really creepy, slinky, questionable methods kind of character that I'm a personal fan of.
Thank you.
It's all good.
The hand that she pulled off of herself and threw and landed on your head was pretty nice too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was going to actually mention that for both of them, because the role playing between Oryon and Roach, even when they were just kind of like dancing around trying to figure each other out, like, can we actually like work together? Okay, I think so. It was a very awkward conversation, but it was so well played, and I loved that.
Yeah, I'm good with those. So you both can mark down legend point for that. I liked Roach approaching Luthka as well and being like, "Are we okay?" And Luthka was like, "For the moment, but there's later." Essentially, that was amusing too. And Leica is saying they enjoy your eagerness to use the dangerous firearms, because you definitely kept that wanting to utilize it. So I think Luthka, Roach, you guys can both mark down another legend point just kind of for that interaction back and forth. Was pretty amusing, and the whole. I'm eager for you to use that thing again. I want to see how well you aim it to not hit other people. All right. You find yourselves right here in the mix of things, or not in the mix of things, just after a battle. So, what is it that anybody would like to do?
I would like to become visible and turn around and say, "I'm so sorry. I'm the one that dropped the ball. I understand if everybody wants to take my job away from me. I get it. I'll go be in back. If someone does take my job, though, I nominate the boar." Okay, bye. She dejectedly walks to the back of the line.
Are you going to give the bull your snoopers?
No.
I don't think you can use them.
No.
No. I'm immediately gonna go start examining the things that we killed and see if there's anything in the remains that looks magical.
Sure. Do you want to spend a lot of time doing this, or are you just kind of going quick? And what's your modus of operandi?
Well, it is nighttime and we need to keep moving. I'm not hurt at all, but some other people are. So I guess however long everybody needs to regroup, I'll go ahead and use that time to just look over as quickly as possible. Pick the one that looks like it's the most intact and go through that one.
Okay, yeah, it takes about 10 minutes for you guys to recover your stamina in Open Legends. So you could definitely do that as you search through this. Does anybody want to assist with the searching?
I was gonna say, so these things kind of just disintegrated into the sand, right? Is there
more or less?
Okay, but
there are little mounds where.
Okay, so there's a determinate pile that differs them from. Okay.
Yeah. The sand might be just a slightly different color or texture, maybe. But based on where you fought, you can kind of tell. So, were you wanting to assist, or?
I was gonna say Orion's probably just gonna kick it around a little bit and see if it moves at all.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead and roll your perception with advantage. We'll say advantage 2 because you're taking your time over the 10 minutes and you've got the help a little bit from Oryon. Of course, his kicking could be detrimental to the remains, too. You never know. Oof.
Oh yeah. This is just a few rocks with a bunch of weird colored sand on it. I don't know at all what this is. I wonder what made these.
So, one of the things about Open Legend is a high emphasis on success with a twist or failure and the story progresses concepts, making every roll matter, which is why you don't have a whole bunch of people rolling for perception, just one person. So I think there is a little bit of a... I'm going to give you a little something, and I'm going to take a little something at the same time. So you're kind of searching through the biggest pile to try and see what's up, right? See if you notice anything. It looks like there's some arcane glyphs or sigils that kind of shimmer a little bit in the sand, but you'd have to get down closer to examine it a little bit more.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so you kind of go down and you kind of like look. It's weird because it's not like a solid object that you can, I mean, yeah, it's not something you can physically pick up. It's kind of shimmering in the sand, almost like it's attached to the sand. But if you shift the sand too much, it looks like it makes the glyphs kind of mess up or distort a little bit. And they seem to be sinking down though into the sand a little bit deeper.
Oh, well, of course Talia's going to start digging them out.
Yeah, so roll your agility for me just to see how carefully, how dexterously you can nimbly move your fingers here to separate the sand with still being able to see it.
No advantage or disadvantage?
No, just a straight roll on this case.
Okay. 8.
And you were kind of over here shifting a little bit, Oryon kind of looking at it. You see her kind of digging in the sand. Your fingers brush strongly against one of the glyphs. And, actually, Oryon, give me... No, I think you'll see this, especially, since you're very always concerned about this... what's the word? They're your ward.
Charge.
Yeah, your charge, more or less. And you kind of see out of the corner of your eye, she suddenly seems to dive into the sand. And there's like a puff of sand up, and she has gone underneath the sand suddenly. You are suddenly buried under the sand as touching this glyph has activated something that has basically pulled you into the sand.
Accurate.
I'm diving right in after.
Yeah, so you start to like dig, right? I guess roll your might to see how fast you can dig.
I like to think he's like one of those foxes in the Arctic looking for food, and he just jumps straight up and then head on the ground.
So you start kicking up sand. I think the others of you can probably see this happening. Can see just suddenly this sand being kicked back as quickly as he can as he's shoveling this. Do any of you want to react to that, or are you doing your own thing?
I would love to jump up and stop doodling my sad doodles. And then I'm going to be like, move, move, move. And then I'm going to use my alteration abilities to literally start just clawing the dirt off 5 feet by 5 feet. Just making a giant pit the same way that I made a trench.
Okay, so Talia, you find yourself in darkness, completely surrounded by sand. What would you like to do? It's very hard. You can maybe shift a little bit and slowly, but it's like if you're at the beach and you've been buried in sand type thing, except quite a bit deeper.
Do I have any sense of which way is up?
Probably not, but you could roll your logic to maybe try and figure that out. Because I think your particular perks, you don't have the thing that lets you always know what direction.
No. Logic. Let's see how we're doing today. 24.
That's pretty good. Yeah, 15 on the D20 and almost a 10 on the D10. So yeah, for those viewers watching, you roll attribute dice instead of just having a flat modifier. So you're kind of looking around. The camera kind of zooms in. Of course, the camera can see through the sand, and we can see you like trying to open your eyes and then quickly closing them as the sand stings at your eyes, and you're kind of like thinking about how you touched the glyph, and you're pretty sure that up is kind of at your back, so that you kind of went in. So you're at an angle in the sand is what you're pretty much guessing. So it's upwards is kind of where your posterior is pointing.
Okay. That in mind, I'm going to take and pull the ribbons of energy from myself and essentially try to make a wall of force and then push myself from the wall of force where I think up is.
Cool. First, go ahead and roll your fortitude to see how you're doing in this compact, not able to easily breathe situation. And then roll your energy to see how well you do that wall of force. Yeah, 12. You're okay right now.
Okay.
That might not be good enough later if you're down here a long time.
Yep. Makes sense. And then 28 on energy.
All right. So we kind of see these ribbons starting to swirl around Talia and then start to push up against the sand. And from above, the camera kind of zooms out and we see Roach there, like focusing on the sand, starting to like part the sand in these big sections as Oryon's just frantically digging to get down. And suddenly there's just this burst of ribbon light and sand just shooting up around you guys. So incidentally, that 28 is versus your guard. For both of you, Roach and Oryon.
Oh,
I am so sorry.
Since you are directly above this.
Well, yeah, that definitely beats my guard.
Okay, so you do take that much damage. Mm-hmm. See, for Roach, that's 11. You can do a Bane if you would like, Talia. So yeah, you get sand blasted, basically pressurized sand just flying in your face and your eyes, and you're tearing up. We'll say it's kind of force moved. So you kind of stumble backwards from it, and Oryon, you take 7, so you're able to still stand in place. And like as you blink and look through, you can see some feet sticking up, some ankles.
I'm gonna
kind of
those ankles and pull.
Yeah, and you're able now to like pull her out. You feel the pressure lighten from your ribbons of light force push, Talia, and then you feel something latching onto your ankles and pulling you up and out. And he is able to do that. So you pop out, inhale as you coughing out some dust.
Thank you. Oh, I shouldn't have touched that one. That one was bad. That was a bad idea.
You okay?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
The Baron and Brother Richard kind of walk up at this point. They're like, what? They had gone to look ahead a little bit, and they're walking back. What is happening here?
And you say that, and if they look around, Roach is literally scattered there and there and over there.
Talia will start picking up pieces and gathering them.
Brother Richard is, by the gods, what is... Oh my goodness.
Don't touch the glyphs. Don't touch the glyphs. Don't touch the glyphs. Don't touch those.
I don't know if I can do anything for this person if they're in pieces. What explosion happened here?
But no, she's fine. She's fine. It's happens all the time.
What do you mean what?
She has unattaching arm syndrome and leg syndrome. And
It's leprosy. and she's on the ground on her side, and her head is still attached to her torso, but her arms are all gone, and she's missing an ear.
and anybody see the ear anywhere? I don't see that one. Here's your foot.
I think my ear is over there somewhere. I can hear you over there.
Oh, and Talia holds up the hand. Point which direction? Okay, and she follows it.
And then it's got to be an arm that she's actually carrying.
The Baron ends up finding it first and holding it up to you, Talia, because he rolled a 30. Wow, a 20 on a D8. Gotta love exploding dice.
I'm doing my best to reassemble her, but I think that I might be a little distracted. Maybe the right foot goes on the left leg.
What? No! Look what you're doing! Look what you're doing!
Sorry.
You might know about anatomy a little bit better. Do you want to do this?
Here, if you just give me one arm back, I can do the rest myself.
Okay. Here you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brother Richard is kind of hovering over, looking very carefully as you reattach your arm and stuff.
And she's just like, "Can I help you?"
I'm trying to figure out if I can help you.
I don't know. Can you? What is your definition of help?
He picks up your hand and holds it out and says, "Well, do you actually need a hand?"
Yeah, from time to time.
Yeah, he hands you over your hand, and after a few minutes, you're able to get reassembled as the Baron continues to be vigilant and kind of looking around, walking kind of in a slow circle around the group just to make sure everything's okay.
Sand everywhere.
So you were able to pay attention to the glyphs, Talia. If you wanted to try and understand them, you could do a roll for that.
Yes, please.
I think you have feet in knowledge, right?
No.
Like knowledge arcana.
Yes.
And I believe that lets you auto succeed on a CR, but I don't remember what that
I
is.
have tier 2. I automatically succeed on any action roll related to Arcana with a CR of 22 or lower.
Oh wow, 22. Okay, so yeah, especially with what happened to you, there were a couple glyphs. The one that you happened to brush was a glyph that allowed the creature to move beneath the sand. And so as a result of you touching it, it sort of did that for you in that it pulled you under the sand, but then you couldn't continue to move under the sand. So this basically informs you that these are not naturally occurring creatures, but these are creatures that were made, some sort of constructs that these glyphs were formed and put in the center of these mounds of sand to basically give them a semblance of life. So they were probably controlled by someone or something.
Okay.
At least at some point.
Knowing what I do about Arcana and glyphs, would I be able to put this glyph into something, like maybe engrave it on like someone's armor or something, and if they touch it, they can move through sand?
So it's a possibility, but that takes a specialized training to be able to actually craft and turn things into magical items. If you attempted that, it could go horribly wrong very easily, as you have to create the glyph with the proper amount of magics and all that sort of stuff, and that doesn't happen to be in your purvey of study. You do know the glyph so that you could provide it to a crafter, somebody specialized in these things, which mechanically is the craft extraordinary item feat that would allow you to do such things. But having the glyph, you could definitely experiment with it potentially. But I mean, you already have somebody who likes to play with things experimentally, so he's big and strong.
Well,
you never know what could happen.
I wouldn't put him in danger intentionally. He's my friend. Why would I want to do that? So we're not going to do that, but I will hold on to the knowledge because that's very interesting. Luthka would put him in danger intentionally, though. Oh no.
The tree burner.
Tree killer.
So yeah, Luthka seems encouraging you to attempt such practices.
I'll just hold on to the glyph and of course I make a note of it in my notebook. Those are very interesting. Someone definitely made those, though. Whether they were put there for just us or just anybody, that remains to be seen. But that really helps us know that there is somebody making something out there, possibly traps, other creatures, what have you, that we should look out for on our journeys. And they obviously know how to move things through sand.
And having encountered these and seen the mounds, it's a little bit harder at night since there's not light over it, but there is enough of a difference in the coloration that for anybody that pays enough attention to it, you could probably spot these in the sand in the future.
All right. Is everybody feeling better? Should we move on?
And yeah, it's been about 10 minutes as you're recovering, so anybody that hasn't taken lethal damage, you can recover to your full HP for the moment.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
GM, I actually did want to make note of something, especially since we had kind of noted the flaws. One thing I haven't really made mention of too much was the cosmetic deformity on Oryon. So he's kind of like a halfway point between like Garrus from Mass Effect and Harvey Dent from Dark Knight Returns. So he's kind of got like some exposed like gums and teeth and some pretty serious scarring on the left side of his face. And I'd imagine that especially if we're in a desert, that's probably going to get a little irritated.
Yeah, especially with sand just blasting in your face.
Yeah, so I didn't know how you wanted to maybe handle that, if you wanted to do, since it's an exposed eye too, so disadvantage or
yeah,
or
so flaws are 100% in the control of the player. If you want to invoke that flaw to give you some disadvantages, that's when you kind of would earn the legend point. So if, for example, you're trying to be observant, if you're on lookout and you can voluntarily decide to take some level of disadvantage, 1 or 2 or 5 if you're crazy, right? Because of that stuff being exposed and it just irritating you so that you can't pay as much attention to your surroundings, you could absolutely do that.
Okay. All right. I will just try to be true to the character, so I will keep that in mind.
Yeah. And like while you're walking, if it's causing you to be impeded and as a result slowing down the whole party, that could be something too.
Now, if Talia noticed that it looked like it was getting irritated, she would have offered you some sort of cloth or handkerchief to cover, help guard against sand.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to pull up the hood that he has on his cloak, but yeah, even so, not to be too Anakin Skywalker about this, but sand does get everywhere.
You need to get yourself one of these taps or face guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The Baron and Brother Richard have like things that they pulling the hoods to help keep sand and dust out. And yeah, you are able to continue your travels. I'm going to pull you guys back over here so you can see the map. So you have just barely entered into the desert areas, which is, I'm sure for you guys, it is a more obvious difference in color, perhaps. But actually, I'll get a token for you. But so you're like, oops, got the measuring tool selected. You're basically right here. And I will grab Glomus will be our party marker. So that's where you guys presently are. Oops, as I move the map. In this area. And like I said, each of these is, I believe, 12 miles, if memory serves. Oh, well, of course I don't have it correct on this, because this was the other map. But basically, you can cover 2 of these a day at the pace that you're presently going.
The key says that a hex is 12 miles.
Okay,
so
yeah. So you can cover two hexes a day at your present traveling speed, since you're not attempting to sneak. And so you entered in. You basically will end here for today.
On our way, is there any way that I could have, every once in a while, just to cover our tracks, moved the dust behind us?
You want to... You could try. There's a possibility you might get fatigued from the effort.
That's why I said every once in a while, not consistently.
Okay.
Just to break it up.
Oh, wow. That made everything pop up. Yeah, go ahead and roll your alteration to see how effective you are with that. You attempt a couple times. You feel like you're doing fairly well with it.
Can I help you out with this one?
Sure.
I'm gonna make arrows pointing in other directions, but it's still very obvious that that's not the way we went, because like a yard that way, there's some steps and some broken twigs.
So you're making like literal arrows that
are going other directions.
Okay. Sure, yeah. So you feel like you are an amazing person for doing this, as you have helped guard your path.
This is made up for all of my failures in the last 24 hours.
Clearly,
many
nothing to worry about. So yeah, you guys set up, get ready to start setting up camp, basically. So you've traveled through the night, and the sun is starting to rise. So it's kind of a weird opposite of normal type thing. And who would like to search around? And you do have 2 NPCs that can help too, if you ever want them to. But who wants to search for a good campsite?
I think I could look maybe with Brother Richard.
Okay. Yeah, Brother Richard can certainly assist you. So
If you're going to be using your eyeballs, do you want to borrow these?
I'm actually going to cast light on my shield and use that just as kind of a little.
what were you holding out to Oryon there, Roach?
The peeper snoopers. Snooper peepers.
Oh, right, yeah. All right, but you're just going to use light instead.
Yeah. I think I'll leave Roach with the peeper snoopers. Did you think she might be holding out like a body part?
I thought that you might be holding out her eyeball.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll cast light on my shield and kind of use it almost like the beacon of a lighthouse a little bit. Just kind of have my arm tilted a little bit, see if we can find a good spot that might be. Maybe we can find a little oasis if we're lucky.
Sure, yeah.
Beacon is right. You're just going to draw everybody to us with that light.
Oh dang!
That's ridiculous.
Our GM wouldn't do that to us.
We won't see any dragons around here.
Oh yeah,
No,
and
just
that's
a
one thing we
random
forgot to.
light in the middle of the desert at night. It's fine.
So yeah, one of the things that was mentioned was that after seeing the blue dragon, I think the Baron mentioned to you that there has been known to be a red dragon.
Anna just reminded him of that. I'm sorry.
Okay. So yeah, that is a very real possibility, and the red dragon is probably a lot more deadly. Here we go. Cool. Yep. Cool. Anyways, so yeah, go ahead and roll your perception, unless you have another attribute or ability that you think would reflect searching for such a thing.
Should I roll perception or should I actually roll the light spell?
The light spell is going to give you advantage.
Okay.
So, and you'll have advantage from Brother Richard helping you out as well. So that'd be 3 advantage altogether. Hey. Horrible rolls on your D6. 3 1s, man. Wow. But you rolled good on the D20. So, yeah, the 2 of you are looking around, and there's a part where there's some... why is my brain not working? Not cliffs, but...
Caves? Hills?
Well, like...
Bluffs?
I mean, I guess basically cliffs, but there's some rock-walled area and stuff. And, yeah, you find an indentation where, it's not quite a cave, but it's something that you could use.
Like an overhang?
Yeah. So yeah, you are able to locate that and set up camp. What kind of watch order do you guys want to do? And you do have NPCs as well.
Make the Baron go first.
Okay. So
I can take first watch. It's okay.
You were buried in sand not that long ago. Let's get you some rest.
Can I?
I mean,
can you...
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay.
I was going to ask if it was possible for me to pop off a body part and just let that watch for us.
Yeah, you can definitely set it up somewhere. So describe what you're doing.
I will offer. Actually, I'm gonna turn to the fluffy boar. I'm gonna be like, "Pardon me, sir, madam, whichever. Would you mind terribly if I just put this on you and pop off my hand, put it on Glomus's head, and say, would you mind staying up for about 4 to 5 hours while we rest?" I think he said. I think that's a yes.
So yeah, there's several snorts that happen, and yeah. So you're gonna do that. So the Baron's gonna watch. Did you want Talia want to argue to go ahead and do the watch, or?
I mean, I'm not injured. I was just covered in sand. Besides, it's going to take me a while to get all the sand out of my clothes. It's all in my hair. Yeah. So I'll just stay up for just a little bit. I'm not sure if I could actually sleep right now anyways.
Okay. So since you've got this and you put the hand or an eyeball on Glomus.
It's the hand.
Okay.
Because I don't know him well enough yet. Put a naked eyeball on.
Sure. Right.
It's a little...
So
just giving him my hand.
So yeah, let's have Talia go ahead and roll perception with advantage from the hand and Glomus. And then Baron can help out next. Who wants to take the third shift?
28.
Wow. That's good. Did you want to take a shift, Orion?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a third shift.
Okay. I think
It's,
Brother Richard can round that out. Cool. Oh yeah, he'll do great here.
Really?
Okay, cool. All right, now, who would like to roll an exploding D6 for me?
Fine. Unless, I would like to.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Then I'll roll that for no particular reason. Cool. All right, so the night proceeds with no major incidents, and it appears to be morning as you guys are waking up with Brother Richard on the last watch.
I thought we were waking up at night, moving at night.
Oh, yeah, I mean, for you guys, it's yes. So the daytime passes, and it is now nighttime for you to travel again. As that is swap switched for you all. So yeah, the sun is setting, and some of you are kind of waking up, and you might notice that Brother Richard has dozed off in front of the little entrance area.
He wakes up to Talia standing over him, arms crossed, foot tapping, looking very stern, which looks odd on her face.
Sure, he kind of blinks open and he says, "Oh, you caught me meditating."
I'm sorry, but normally when people meditate, they don't snore.
Well,
Quieter than that.
it helps even out my breathing.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of dusts off.
Anybody can meditate, but Brother Richard was definitely not. And Talia kind of walks away and starts making her breakfast of sorts.
Yeah, Brother Richard hurries over and helps prepare some food before you guys start on the journey. The Baron has, checking his equipment, getting dust off his sword and his armor, and cleaning things. And he looks over to Oryon as you're getting up and fixing your bed rolls and stuff. So, Oryon, right?
All right.
I'm curious, and I don't mean to be rude, it's just I love stories, and you seem to have a potentially interesting story for what has occurred to your body.
The fact that I am a big golden lizard man, or you're referencing the left side of my horribly scarred face?
The left side of your face.
Yeah, I have been in service to Talia's family for as long as I can remember. And it was in service to her father that I took what I consider to be an honorable scarring in defense of him. As you notice, it is the shield side of my body. My shield did not hold out, fortunately. My body did, and I don't see it as a problem. It gives me pride whenever I look in the mirror. I did my job.
He kind of nods and says, "Very, very honorable to make sure others are protected. That's very noble of you." Though I am curious also about the dragon part too. Was your mother or father a dragon? How did?
Yeah, I got no answer for that one. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Maybe it could be that I was created for this purpose. In which case, maybe I was. Maybe I was made from a dragon to protect. And to be made from a gold dragon, that's a good thing, right?
I suppose so. I mean, you seem very good at what you do.
Thank you, Baron. I appreciate that. You're good at what you do too.
He smiles. Thank you very much. Is anybody else doing anything particular in the morning? Any interesting morning routines that we're seeing as the sun is dipping down across the horizon? The heat's starting to lessen.
It's potential that nobody sees Roach anywhere.
I was going to try to find Roach. So where is Roach?
She's above on an outcropping in the bluffs, and she has been awake for the last 5 hours or so.
Okay, I was going to ask Roach to use the snoopers and just kind of check out the everywhere else, but
you could either search for her or call out for her.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna yell out for, especially if he doesn't see Roach. It's not, he knows Roach is sometimes hiding or invisible. So yeah, he's Roach, you nearby? Please, if you're invisible, don't jump up behind me.
And eventually, you see a shadow come crawling down the side of the wall.
Always terrifying. All right.
What do you need?
Just spider crawling down the side of the wall. Yeah. Always just a little unsettling. It's. But glad you're on our side.
Huh? What? What do you need?
Can you maybe use your snoopers, peepers, see if there's anything to see?
Yeah.
50.
I haven't been that reliable the last couple of times. I can lend them to you if you feel like you could do this better. I haven't been doing very well.
You know what? I feel like this time might just be our shot. Yeah, I wouldn't be much better.
Maybe we should ask the pig. All right. I'll just see what I can see. Just hold on just a moment. Climb back up. Take a look around.
All right, go ahead and roll with that legendary item use.
There you go. That's a number.
Yeah, and so as you tell Roach this, Oryon, and you're looking around, you always have an immediate eye to want to look right wherever Talia is, and you notice her.
I can narrate it.
Do what?
I said I can narrate it.
Okay,
I
sure.
just didn't want to interrupt the roll or anything.
Sure.
You see Talia in just the last bit of sunlight, the light seeming to like form ribbons as it hits her and spins around, twirling and almost absorbing into her skin. And any energy used tonight, those ribbons will be the exact same color as the light coming in, the last bit of sunlight. It's like she's charging her energy for the evening.
That's beautiful.
Very cool.
Neat.
So you put on the snoopers. You rolled a 1 on the D20.
Look at 22. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. And so you're looking around, you're focusing and seeing it, zoom in and zoom out as you look at the various things. There's a lot of sand. There is. And as you kind of look and backtrack really far, so it's even with the zoom feature of these strange devices that you found, it's still small, and there's these dots kind of way back that seem to be inspecting something in the sand.
Enhance.
Yeah, you don't quite see anything else.
All right. Scuttle back down there. Ryan.
Say anything?
Yeah. Organisms. I think they're humanoid. I couldn't make out of much, though. I could tell that they were contacting the ground.
Was it where...
It's not a dragon.
Well, yeah, plus side to that. Was it where we're going or where we came from?
To our north?
Where we're going.
It was where you were coming from.
Oh, so it's to our
Okay, so
south.
we're
Or it was to our east.
To where we have been.
Right. So it was basically the path you had already traveled.
Well, sounds like we're being followed.
Is that okay? Do you want me to try to mess the campsite up a little bit, or you could shoot the blaster?
I would say the arrows in the sand might not be working.
Oh, you saw that. I'm gonna have to switch up my tactics now. Someone's on to me.
Yeah, let's. I think we should break camp and get moving as quickly as possible.
All right. Go round everybody up. Tell him what I just told him.
Yeah, the Baron wants to check it out too, and if you let him use the snoopers, he's going to look where you said, and basically he sees the same thing because it's too far away, even with these snoopers, to really get a look at whatever this is. But you try, and so you're aware that there seems to be somebody or something behind you guys as you set out. And yeah, so still the same plan. You're still wanting to go the same pace, right?
I think so.
All right. So you guys head out. Who would like to roll an exploding D6 while you're traveling? to this first hex.
I'll do it.
You guys are utilizing the Baron and the map mainly for traveling. So I don't think you need to roll for not getting lost in this case. Okay, cool. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, you guys start off in the night. It's kind of cold, colder than you would expect as the sun has set. But we'll go ahead. It's 9:20. Well, for me it's 9:20. It's 10:20 Eastern. So we'll go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break here, and then we'll come back and find out what else you might encounter in these sands before you reach the City of the Gods.
Oh no.
I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. Nothing to worry about. And we are back. So, you all are traveling through the night. It's actually a fairly clear day today. Or tonight. And, you know, you can see some stars and the moonlight. So, that may or may not be a good thing, but you can definitely see your way. And, you know, maybe every now and then you look back. With the distance, whoever these individuals are that might be behind you, it's even a little bit harder being at night to spot them now that the sun has actually set. But it doesn't seem like they're any closer as you're traveling through. So there's definitely some gusts of wind that are picking up this night, blowing sand into uncomfortable spaces. Getting it maybe some into your shoes, some into your you thought you had everything sealed up, but you know some of it's getting in under the clothes, and it might be getting a little irritating. So I want everybody to go ahead and roll your fortitude as you are traveling through the night here. It is a little bit colder, so for those of you that maybe don't produce your own body heat, that could be bad. I don't know if that's a thing for Roach.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you, conversely, I have the ascetic perk. Is this something that would apply towards that?
Absolutely. With the ascetic perk, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Cool.
You know, tough Luthka is having no trouble. Little, tiny, short Talia and Glomus are not enjoying the cold or the sand. There's no super adverse effects right now, but we'll do another check, and if you fail 2 in a day, then you're going to have fatigue just from having to deal with it. So I'm making a little note for Glomus. And now, you do have legend points if you would like to roll... well, for Talia, in your case, you just be rolling another d20, which might not be beneficial to you. And for Glomus, you'd get another d10 if you wanted to use one of your legend points to maybe try and get a little bit higher on that roll. That's always an option available to you.
I actually think that it makes sense for Talia to be struggling a little bit. She's not quite built for travel. So she's just kind of... at this point, she's just kind of falling a little bit behind her normal pace, shivering a little bit.
If I can catch sight,
I think when Orion sees that, he's gonna give her. Sorry, Casey. Go ahead.
No, me. I want to give her clothing.
My charge, damn it.
I need friends, really bad. Okay.
Let's fight over who likes Talia more.
Yeah, I was gonna hop back and offer her my outerwear.
Yeah, and as you're offering that outerwear, you guys watch Luthka reach down and pick up Glomus, who's been snorting a little bit more, and helps carry Glomus. So he's veering you a little bit more towards some of these cliff sides that reach up into some of the mountains to the west to stay off the normal traveled route, because you don't want to be too obviously seen. You're encountering a little bit rougher terrain that's slowing you down a little bit because of it. So you're not traveling as fast as you might like as you're going. Who's on watch? Who's alert to the surroundings the most right now?
I'm always constantly trying, at least.
Looking out for traps.
I think Orion's near the back, especially since he saw that they were being followed.
Okay.
I'm not sure he's on point, but he's at least aware of the surroundings.
So I'll let you two choose. One or the other can roll, and you can roll with advantage since you're both kind of paying attention.
I'll take this one. So it's perception?
Yes. Cool.
You should have taken that one.
Oh no.
It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Just let me check one other thing. Ooh, wow. Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
Hearing ow from the DM is never good.
It's fine. It's good. Nothing to worry
I'm
about.
saying it's fine. It's gonna be trust issues.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Famous last words.
Cool. So let me pull you guys over to here. We'll remove these guys from the screen. Yeah, so you guys are going along. You said you're in the back, Oryon, as you guys are kind of heading to the north. The Baron is kind of leading the pack. Where would you be at, Roach?
There-ish.
Okay.
If there are escarpments or cliffs or anything, I'll probably be on those instead. But looks like flat ground right here.
Yeah, it's mostly where you guys are right now is mostly flat ground. Now, hopefully, me expanding the map this big is not going to kill it for Eris with her connection. But, because I know that does...
Seems to be okay for now.
Okay. I'll make this a little bit bigger map for no particular reason at all. Just, you know, I just felt like it. So, you know, just for the fun of it, why don't everybody just go ahead and roll initiative? Remember, you can select your token, and I moved you a little bit, Luthka, but if you want to readjust yourself, feel free. I wonder why the music's changing. That's so weird.
Yeah, this music isn't worrying at all.
Hi.
Nope.
So you guys are all kind of a little bit surprised because you've been looking behind you and you haven't really been looking up. You hear a screech in the air above you. Let's see. Roach, Talia, Oryon, did you roll? You did. It just didn't add you. Got a lovely 10 too. It's a good roll. All right, and so we'll get. He set up. And go to Richard. Wow.
Jeez.
The Baron always cheating. Unfortunately, he's also surprised. Yeah, so you hear the flapping of wings really close. You know, maybe a small desert bird is just really close to your head or something. And then you hear this screech that just pierces your eardrums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, top to bottom. Actually, I'll tell you what. Who has the lowest presence score?
I have a 1.
I also have a 1.
I too have a 1.
Anybody lower than 1? Glomus? Glomus has
Glomus.
0? Probably. I'm pretty sure both these dudes have... Oh, that's why it's not with me. Yeah, presence of 5 for Baron. He's okay. All right, well that's interesting. So yeah, and what happens is Luthka's been carrying Glomus, and the rock, this bird, flies down and tries to grab into Glomus. You are surprised by this, and nobody has reactions that you are capable of doing because of that. Oh man, Brother Richard has a good presence too. Dang. All right, so yeah, the rock swoops in, attempts to do something. Oh, snap. So, does a couple of attacks at Glomus, trying to grab them up into their claws. So, the first one's the attack. The second one is the immobilize, basically. So, Glomus, 14 guards. That's 11 damage on the first hit. And then the second one is not damage, but is grabbing a hold of and trying to pull away. So you guys all see this very large bird creature reaching in and trying to dig their claws into Glomus. And it is the Baron's turn. He goes, he yells out, "A rock! Attack the fiend!" And charges forward and attempts to, while the rock is still engaged trying to get ready to lift off with Glomus, attempts to sink their rapier in. That is a... Oh, I didn't have the stuff set up. Good. So it does some damage. It cries out angrily as it is struck. Roach, what would you like to do?
That strike did not help Glomus at all, did it? He just stabbed it.
Yeah, he just stabbed the actual rock.
Okay. How big is this thing? Is this thing eclipsing the moon?
It's pretty big. It's taking up, I mean, its wings aren't fully spread out in that picture, and it's taking up 15 feet across.
Okay. All right. So not the most massive bird ever, but rideable.
Yeah, you could ride it.
No, I'm not going to ride it. What I'm going to try to do
climb right on back if you want.
I'm good. I think to hold on is a might thing. That's not going to work with me. So instead, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to steal Glomus back with a Bane. Disarm Bane.
That would definitely work, I think, in this case, with what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
I think this will work. Yeah. Wait, no, that's an ally too. So I get one advantage on this, I think.
Oh, because of lethal strike?
Yeah.
Yeah, lethal strike applies to Banes.
Okay.
And you definitely have allies all around right now.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not invisible, not doing multi-attack, none of that stuff. So there's just one hit to try to make it. Didn't make it.
Tracker seems to be having issues. Yeah, 12 is not going to get Glomus out of the grip. Is there anything else you want to attempt to do?
I'll just be there, actively trying to pry Glomus out of this thing's iron grasp.
All right, well, it is Glomus's turn. And while we're getting what Glomus is doing, Talia, be thinking about what you're about to do. Yeah, you just do a might roll to try and get out. All right. So this powerful bird. Oh, yeah, I guess I need to. It's a little bit more agile than they are strong, interestingly enough. But they do have claws. Ooh. You did get a 1 on your D6. Does anybody want a legend point to maybe get that 16 to be a little bit higher for Glomus?
Oh, is that something we can do?
Yeah, you can always offer. I mean, if Luthka doesn't want to use,
Spend a legend point.
okay, you can always use. Yeah, you can offer one of your legend points to another player if you want to.
Oh, show.
So that'd just be an exploding D6 plus, and whatever you get will be added to the 16. I always love to offer ways for you guys to spend those legend points. Just. So. Oh, only a 1.
I tried.
Oh. It's just 1 away. So I'll give you this option, Luthka. You can succeed and take 3 points of lethal damage, or just fail for Glomus. Which will basically narratively be Glomus struggling so much to escape that they get their side rend into a little bit by the claws. Then, Talia, what are you doing? As Glomus does successfully fall to the ground, but take 3 lethal damage in the process.
Talia says, "No, not Glomus!" And some of the sunlight starts forming around her hands, and she points it towards the rock, and she's going to try to use her energy to immobilize it by having the bands of energy encircle the thing, trying to bind its wings down.
Very interesting, yeah. And is this going to target guard or toughness?
This is for toughness.
All right, you're aiming for a 19. This rock is pretty tough.
$28.
Oh yeah. Wow, you are rolling high on some of this stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I just rolled a 1, so let's do
it's
this.
True. So yeah, these bands, these ribbons that you guys recognize, just wrap around the rock, kind of pull as it's flapping in. It just the wings are just pulled to its side, and it's struggling, and it can't just move. It's kind of held in the air right now. So, and you can still move if you want to. You've got your movement.
Talia's gonna stay right there because she's between Brother Richard and Oryon. She feels pretty safe.
So Oryon, you see Talia cause her ribbon energy to seem to hold this rock in place so that you can actually still reach it. What would you like to do?
So what's the status on Glomus?
He has been freed. He got a little bit of his side ripped into by the talons of this rock, but he is back on the ground, right next to Luthka.
Okay, and conscious or whatever the...
Yes, and conscious, yes.
Okay, cool.
Hurt,
okay,
but yes.
Right. All right, so the rock is still within reach. So much on the screen. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go for a sword attack, and let's
All right. Swing that beautiful sword. So yeah, flurry of activity and action. Wow, you're just so. So if you use 2 legend points, you can re-roll your d20 with a +2, since you rolled a 1 on it.
You know, I think I have a slight abundance of legend points right now, more than I'm used to. So yeah, let's go ahead and use those. So you said roll 2 legend points.
So you just roll a d20, but yeah, it costs you 2 legend points.
Okay.
So you just get to roll a d20 in this case.
Why didn't that work?
/R, and not rolling. Just slash R is all you need, or /roll.
/R. Okay.
So I appreciate you typing out your intentions. So
yeah.
Wow, 5. Okay, so that's a 16, which unfortunately is not enough to do it. But since you spent legend points, I'll let you deal minimum damage to this thing. So you kind of reach up and exert yourself and kind of nick it a little bit. You see a few of the feathers fall to the ground. Brother Richard is probably going to heal Glomus, seeing Glomus take that hit. I really need to set that up to do that. Wow, okay, cool. What was that score of? Oh, yeah, so it's D10. All right, so holy light extends out from his palm and strikes into Glomus, allowing Glomus to recover 7 HP. It naturally does not heal the lethal damage, but he does recover 7 HP for Glomus. And he yells out, "Stand strong!" And Luthka, it is your turn. You've just watched Glomus get shred into, fallen back to the ground, get healed by Richard. Everybody's kind of swinging in at this creature as it's flying. And then the rock will be next. It is your major action for sure. I believe it's actually a focus action, so it does take all of your turn to shapeshift. I'll double check. But yeah, the versatility of it. Unless you had like haste on you or something. Oh, it's just a major action. So you still have movement. Yeah, it's alternate form. That's a focus action. Well, you still won't have an attack. Oh, are you just going to claw with your orc form? You're not going to shapeshift. Gotcha. Yeah, go ahead and roll that. 17, not quite enough. This thing is pretty... The feathers are not just soft feathers. They are quite hard as you attempt to go at this thing. It does not enjoy being bound. It is going to attempt to resist. It does not succeed. So it will use its action to attempt to bite at... I guess at the Baron, because the Baron was the one that did the most damage to it. Whew.
Is it possible to do a defend interrupt?
You can now, because it's been your turn.
Okay. So how does that work?
So you'd roll whatever you're defending with. You can move up to 15 feet with your defend interrupt. So you can get right next to him so that you can utilize your shield. So you just roll your might, basically. And you've got defensive 2 on the shield, I think. For the shield you got.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's...
So that's how
right,
much advantage you have to it. I don't think you have any other feats right now that give you more on your defend.
Because I have 4 armor, and then the shield itself is... Yeah, advantage 2 on defended round. Okay, cool.
Okay. So yeah, just you get to roll your might with that advantage. And it will replace his defense if it... Ooh, which it does pretty good. I gotta move out of the way. So he still takes some damage, but not nearly as much as he would have. So only 3, actually.
Well, and then I want to use Battlefield Retribution.
You have to actually beat the roll. So if you'd rolled higher than 32, it automatically... I mean, you can choose for it not to, but it would automatically deal that much damage. But in this case, you just lessen. So you're fast enough to deflect most of the attack, so it's only a slight swipe that, the Baron only has to exert a little bit of energy to get it out of the way instead of getting the beak to really dig in. Oops. And it is now his turn. I'm going to put it... Oh, I still got the markers on you guys. I need to change that. We'll put a flag in because you don't have your major action. All right, so the Baron is going to... Need to flesh out his actions a little bit more. But he's going to attack... Which definitely hits. And is enough to do 10 over. So he is going to stun the creature as well as it being immobilized. Immobilized and stunned. Very cool. Roach, it is your turn now.
Okay, great. Immobilized, stunned. I think I'm going to try to incapacitate it at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this neat, initially, flip trick where I get up on my hand and I do like a windmill maneuver. And then I'll wrap my legs, or try to wrap my legs around its neck into a figure 4 and hold.
All right.
Try to cut out there.
Get a little triangle choke going in there with the legs.
We got the lethal strike. We've got stunned. Is that a... And,
stunned doesn't assist with that. But since it is immobile and you're doing a fancy acrobatic move, and you're attacking with agility anyways, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so go ahead and roll your agility. And roll it with an additional advantage from whatever else you normally have.
You got it. Let's see. I'm gonna use Legend Point on this too, just to make sure it works.
Okay, definitely.
So that's 3 advantage. This is against toughness, by the way.
Okay, so your target is 19, by the way. Which
Boom!
You definitely beat. All right, so now incapacitated has a lot of benefits for anyone else that attacks. Okay. So it's still hovering in the air because the ribbons of light are holding it on, but you choke and the eyes flutter. It caws out, and then the creature kind of goes limp, held in the air only by the ribbons of light and energy that Talia is controlling. So while it is incapacitated, attacks against it that are successful are considered finishing blows, which means it'll have to do a fortitude check to see if it survives the attack. And its defense is only basically its natural armor and not its agility and things like that. So you guys, if you want to decide to let somebody else attack it or anything like that, you can, but it is presently incapacitated and at power level 6, which means if it takes damage, it will wake up. So Glomus can go now, or you can always decide to hold your, move your turn down in the order if you wanted to let somebody else go before you. So is there anything you want to do? All right, see you typing. And then Talia, you'd be right after that.
Talia is really just going to hold that immobilization. Well, she...
Now, to do that, you can still do another action. That'll just... Okay. Yeah, so Glomus kind of runs. Now, did you catch when Glomus recovered 7 HP from Brother Richard, by the way? So I think he's almost back up to his current max. All right, so Talia, I mean, if you want to do an attack, you can, right? And the mobilize will still hold.
Actually, if Glomus looks like he's still injured at all, Talia is going to attempt to heal him a little bit.
He's got like
she doesn't have
not
a lot
much.
of healing.
Like part of the damage is gonna take a little bit more care than a simple. You'd have to have basically the extraordinary healing feat to heal the lethal damage.
Gotcha. Okay.
You could bolster somebody.
Yeah. Is nearby. I'm gonna say, come on, Ryan. You get to do.
You at least for me, you roboted out there a lot.
Sorry, my internet went a little weird.
Yeah, you sound better presently.
All right. I don't even know.
And there's not much you can do, Orion, because you used your major.
I don't really have any. Yeah. There's not really. Some of the energy floats off of the rock and surrounds Orion, giving him resistance to claw attacks, piercing attacks.
So yeah, that'd be precise attacks. Yeah, go ahead and roll. We'll see how much.
17.
Okay, so that'd be, I think, +3. So that'd be power level 3. Double check that in just a second. Orion, what would you like to do as this thing is immobilized, stunned, and incapacitated?
So I already used my major action with the defend interrupt, right?
Right, so you don't have a major action. You can really only move or sustain a boon, unfortunately.
Okay. I think I'm gonna hold in place. Because even to ready to defend, that's an action, isn't it?
Well, you never have to ready to defend because it's a reaction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll.
Now,
I'll
as a
hold
minor
in place.
action, you can do perception, you can do logic to try and maybe see weak points or figure out weak points to maybe yell at somebody else and give them advantage type thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if this thing would be. Yeah, I'm gonna use perception and see if there's any weak spots or any anything I can determine just out of the ordinary about this rock.
Yeah, so you start to check it over. Let's see how discerning your eye actually is.
Let's smell what the rock is cooking. Right.
13. I think you notice the connection point of the rock's legs to its body look like there's less hardened feathers around that area. So that might be a good spot to maybe attempt to attack.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna shout out to everyone. Go for the turkey legs.
All right. Brother Richard. I think what he's going to do, seeing that you're an effective defender, he is going to send out, you feel this Wow, he didn't roll very good. So maybe you don't. He attempts to bolster you, but he doesn't get at least the 16 needed. So, unfortunately, you are not. Luthka, what would you like to do as this rock is incapacitated and immobilized in front of you? Brother Richard behind you is trying to do something for Oryon, but the darkness and energy of the moment seems to be stopping him from taking that action.
Like that well-known T-shirt saying about how you go to intimidate the orc and it ends up being a gentle caress.
Yes.
Gives you a nice back pat. I always do that.
Are you there, Luthka? It could, but since this is kind of a creature that, well, one, it's asleep right now because it's incapacitated, and it's already angered and frazzled, I don't think they would work very well. Whisper of the Wild, the ability to commune. And then the rock is going to be next. All right, so you have advantage because it is incapacitated. All right, so 22 now. It's guard right now with its natural armor. That makes that basically 10. So you can inflict a bane of your choice. That makes sense with your claws. And it has to do a fortitude roll. Which that definitely passes. Wow. So it wakes up at that, is no longer incapacitated. It cries out from that, unhappy. And is there a particular bane you think you want to do to it, Luthka? It is going to attempt to break free of its immobile first. Which it does. And then it's going to... Ooh, yeah, because it's stunned. So it'll attempt to get the stun effect. It is still stunned, so it can't do anything else because it's stunned. It's one failure on stunned. So it struggles and manages to pop out. Persistent damage, then go ahead and roll a D6. Wait, it would be a D8 exploding. See how much damage it took at the start of its turn. And it'll roll, see if it can break off the resistant damage. Okay. Alright, so it takes some damage from that. Alright, but it's stunned, so that's the only thing it gets to do is resist the Banes. So Baron is going to do what he does. Try and use his fancy smancy rapier. Does minimum damage. Roach, what would you like to do?
I'm going to attack twice.
Okay.
First time normally, second time I'm going to try to inflict the persistent damage bane as well. I do that right? I don't hear any.
With your second attack?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's boons that you can't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you can do any attack, a bane attack or a damaging attack with both those attacks.
Okay. Let me do the math real quick. I'm at disadvantage 1 for both.
Yeah, and you figured out that the difficulty of hitting this target is basically a 22 now, is what you guys are aiming for this rock.
Uh, 22. I don't know if I can. I think I'd have to explode on that. Can I take back what I said and just do one attack?
You can, yeah. You can. You've been in enough fights that you can figure out that this is something you might have to focus on. And remember, if you're not going to do any moving or any minor actions, you can always do a focus action, sacrificing your movement and your minor action to give you another advantage.
Let's try that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's nothing anymore. Okay. Hey, that second one got it.
All right. Yeah, 24 will deal. And the second one, you were wanting to do persistent damage?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, it is persistent damage, which you have a score of 6, so you get 7. I don't think you rolled the right amount of dice, actually, for that. Because you get power level 7 because it's on your dagger.
Oh,
and you
wow.
also rolled with entropy instead of with agility. I mean, that doesn't matter, actually.
No, that's the way that I wanted it to be. I wanted it to...
Right. Flavor-wise, it's the... but let me just double-check, because I believe... Yeah, you've got... Okay, you got power level 6, which is an exploding D8 per round. Which happens at the start of its round, not on your round, by the way.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Whoops. All right. What would Glomus like to do? The rock might be a little bit high. I guess if Glomus kind of jumped a little bit, they could potentially still hit the rock. Oops. Sure. Fully understandable. Now, something that you can always do is do an assist action for your turn, which helps another player, giving them advantage to whatever they're doing. And Talia, you're going to be up. It has broken away from your immobile, so it's managed to spread its wings out and shatter the ribbons that were previously surrounding it.
Well, she saw that worked pretty well for her, so she's going to do it again.
Okay. So while Glomus is considering their next course of action, we watch as Talia extends out her...
I will wait until this guy's done.
I mean, usually for assists, you kind of can describe, like, maybe they are helping push something. Maybe they are distracting the creature in some way. Or, if it's might for Glomus, maybe jumping around to distract the rock enough to give somebody else's an advantage type thing. It does have to at least make some sort of narrative sense for the assist action to happen.
Maybe it'd be like demoralize. So might versus resolve.
Yeah, could always do that. Try and... Okay, so Glomus is attempting to assist you, Talia, since you are going for this. So that means you'll have an additional advantage to your attempt to immobilize it again. So it can fly away from you crazy people.
Okay. And I'm going to sacrifice.
You gonna do a focus action?
Yes. Sorry.
So
I
that'd
don't know, my
be-
internet's going in and out again.
It's okay. So you've got advantage from Glomus, advantage from focus action.
2 advantage. And 22
It does it.
against toughness.
The rock screeches out in frustration, just like the DM does, as you once again immobilize the rock. Congratulations. All right, Orion, you haven't had to do a defend action, so you actually have your major action.
Okay. So the rock is how far off the ground now? Still within reach? Or?
Yeah, it's still within reach because it had just dug its claws into Glomus, which Luthka was holding, so definitely parts of its body are within melee.
Okay. Yeah. Gonna go for the sword attack then, and works this time. So, is it advantage 1 for immobilization, or advantage?
Oh, are you trying to do a Bane attack directly?
Well, I'm doing a sword.
Oh,
attack
if you
instead
have
of
no.
advantage
It just makes it so it can't move from its spot. It can still like shift around a little bit, but it can't escape out. So, no, currently.
Gotcha. Okay. Still
Wow.
no dice.
Wow, snake eyes on
Those
your
ones are following me
attribute
around
dice.
today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brother Richard is. Oh, I forgot that his healing is a minor action. Oh well. No one else is really hurt right now, though. I think he's gonna try and bolster somebody again. Let's see. Talia is doing a lot, surprisingly. I think he'll try and get you again, Orion, with that bolster. Well, at least that's better. All right, so you've got advantage 1 on anything you do with might, because he did not roll well enough to get more than that.
Would he still have the additional 3 from the protection? I'm not sure if that carries for how long.
Well, that's because... Oh, yeah, because you did a focus action, so that means that would have dropped.
Okay. Perfect. Sorry.
So yeah, you don't have additional protection, but you do have advantage to might now. So anything you do with might is advantage 1. That's what that means. Okay, Luthka, it is your turn. This creature is still hovering over you. And getting ready to do something, it hopes. Or at least I hope. Okay. Okay, so Luthka is transforming into an owl. You would still have your movement if you wanted it. So you guys watch as this massively big female orc just suddenly like starts to contort and turns into a much smaller owl. And yeah, you should have control of that token. Yeah, just smaller than than the orc. So yeah, you can move anywhere you want. And the rock, crying out in frustration as it tries to fight against its bonds, it's going to lash out at the Baron and... so the first one's versus the Baron, the second one's going to be versus Oryon.
It is the start of its turn. Did it shake off my...
So it does, yeah, go ahead and roll... Wow. Go ahead and roll the persistent damage D8. Whoo! There's the rolls I've been looking for. So it does take 5 damage. Oh gosh, it's stunned, so that's all it can do. I can't resist anything. Oh well. Already did it. Alright, so that's do you want to do anything about that, Oryon? You've got two defend actions you can do each round because of Sentinel.
I don't have Sentinel anymore.
Oh, you don't?
I don't.
How dare.
No, so the only thing I would do is maybe defend interrupt for, you said it was the Baron that got attacked first?
Oh, you're supposed, if you have defensive mastery, you should actually have advantage 3 from your shield.
Okay. Because it's a magical shield, so it had 2 to begin with, so it should be 3.
So it should be 3 total advantage because of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So you can only do one, so you can choose which attack, the 42 or the 30, to attempt to defend.
Yeah, I'll take the brunt from the 30, so I will try to defend the 42.
Okay.
So that's a might roll with...
So you have 3 advantage from your defensive capabilities, plus you've got the bolster.
Right,
so you've got 4 advantage altogether. Thanks for the follow, Vise.
Hey.
All right. Oh. Huh. Well, that's an interesting situation because you met it. I'll allow it to at least deal some damage back to it. So we'll do some minimum damage there. This thing seems to be pretty hardy, though. I will say. So you do. So describe what it looks like. How, when you defend this claw swipe, one's coming for you as the other one's going for Baron. And what does Oryon do in this moment?
Yeah, so I imagine that Ryan tries to jump in front of the Baron, shield up, but as he does so, he leaves his right side unguarded, and the claws come swiping at him that way, so it kind of... The 9 damage actually attacks the unguarded side. He rushes to defend his ally.
So yeah, the one claw bounces off the shield, angering and frustrating and somewhat demoralizing the rock at not being able to hit its intended target with its powerful swipe as the slightly weaker swipe digs into you for 9. The Baron goes, "Ha-ha! Thank you, my friend!" And he tries to stab once more into this creature, focusing this time, which I don't know why he wasn't before. Cool. 23 minimum damage. He's not doing as well as he did against the constructs. Roach, what would you like to do here?
Do I get the impression that this thing is just behaving like a normal friggin' bird? That if we stopped trying to pin it down, that it would fly away out of fear of us? Or is it after our blood at this point?
That'd probably be a logic roll to try and analyze the behavior of this creature.
Okay, and if I did that, then would that mean that...
That'd be your minor action.
But that's not my sustained.
No, because you have multiple minor actions. You can use one to...
Great.
Oh, you don't have to sustain persistent damage. It's up to the creature to resist it.
Oh, got it. The word persistent implies,
Right, yeah. So,
okay.
Unless the only bane that specifies that you have to sustain it is Phantasm. All the other banes are inflicted on the creature, and it's up to the creature to choose to resist it.
Easy. You said that was a logic roll?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just a minor action to simply... it's pretty hurt at this point, but you're not for certain if it would just fly away and leave you alone, or if at anger of being hurt, it could still attack. It's a 50-50.
All right. In that case, I'm gonna keep on fighting. But as I'm fighting, I'm gonna look over to Orion and be like, "Hey, try yelling at it like you did that one time. It might just leave us alone." Ah!
Are you going to single attack? Or are you multi-attacking? What's your goal here?
I'm a multi-attack. I'm gonna do my normal.
And Luthka Glomus is up next.
Already used the minor, which I have multiple of, but that means that
You can't do a
no
focus.
longer use it. Yeah. We're all learning together. There you go.
All right. Well, the 23 hits. And these were both damaging attacks.
Nothing special.
You guys are basically dealing minimum damage to this thing. You're slowly whittling it away. It looks
I'll
like
actually
it.
back up from there a little bit too.
Yeah, if you're. Oh, do you? Oh, it's stunned though, so it actually.
I have evasive footwork, anyways.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this thing looks bloodied basically at this point. And then Talia, you're right after Glomus. Okay, so he's going to keep trying to distract the rock with his yummy ham possibilities. So, Talia, you would have advantage from Glomus.
Okay. So Roach alluded to the fact that they thought that the rock might fly away. Talia is going to enhance this a bit. She's going to pull back the ribbons of light from the rock.
Okay.
And instead, I have the flying feet. They form back around my shoulder blades as wings. Big wings made of light. Talia starts flying up slightly into the air, shedding light in all directions, and says, "Leave now, rock!" And is going to try to demoralize it with energy, making herself look big and intimidating. Obviously, this creature has brought it down, and its friends has attacked it. It is now hurt, and it has a chance to leave from the scary light thing.
Yeah. Resolve happens to be its lowest defense. You're aiming for a 17 here.
Okay. And I'm using energy for this.
And you have the advantage from Glomus.
$25.
All right, yeah. So you demoralize it. Now, I will say fear. I don't actually. Do you have access to that? You might not. Fear would actually makes it have to run, whereas demoralize. It demoralizes it, and gives it disadvantage to attacks and things like that.
I don't have fear. I just have demoralize. So she's hoping to essentially intimidate it and make it like.
I got what
make
your
the survival instinct kick in for this bird.
Disadvantage 2. Yeah, so it definitely takes that into consideration as it is feeling downtrodden by these horrible, horrible adventurers. Orion, you don't have your major action because you defended. Is there anything you want to do as far as moving or anything like of that nature? Are you muted?
I am. I was trying to pull up the map. I got everything on the screen.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I still think he's going to hold that spot. The rock hasn't moved. I don't think he will either.
Okay. Let's see if Brother Richard can. I guess. Yeah, he's just going to swing his mace at this thing. He's not going to focus action because he's going to maintain bolster. Well, that hits. Minimum damage. All right, owl form. Luthka. What would you desire to do? Okay. You see the larger than normal owl come forward and try and get at the eyes. Now, are you attempting to do the blinded bane on this creature, or are you attempting to just deal damage? Okay. Go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage. That would probably be agility for the owl. Let me look. Yeah, definitely agility for the owl. It kind of tries to get in there, but the rock's kind of swishing its head side to side, and it can't quite reach. Now, the rock, go ahead and roll exploding D8, because it did not resist its banes, Roach, so it still has that persistent damage from you. It does not like the situation it's in after getting demoralized and stuff, so it is going to attempt to fling off these things troubling it. So it's going to try and get rid of stun. Which it doesn't do. Persistent damage. Which it does do. And demoralized. Which it doesn't do. Wow. Okay, and it can't do anything else because it's still stunned. Oh my goodness. But is no longer persistent damaged, at least. Failed once on that. Alright, so it takes 2 damage from persistent damage. And it's still stuck in place. Alright, yeah, he's just going to attack. Focus actioning. This poor rock. Why'd you have to go stun it? You're so mean. Alright, Roach, what would you like to do?
I too would like to attempt to demoralize it.
They won't stack.
Aw. Well, he shook it. No, he didn't shake it off.
He didn't successfully. Now, you could fear it. Because
can't
you have
though.
entropy, don't you? Or do you not have high enough
5.
entropy? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have 5 in entropy.
If you extend yourself, I might allow you to do it. It
Like,
might
pull off my arm and
it
then
might
hold
it might
my other
exhaust
arm?
it might cause you exhaustion to overextend yourself, but I'll allow you to attempt to do fear even though you only have a 4 in it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I got some ideas for how that could go terribly, terribly wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, just roll your entropy with any additional things you want. I mean, you still get the lethal strike advantage because there's allies all around it.
oh, very cool. All right. I think that's all I get.
Yeah. Unless you want to spend some legend points.
Not for this.
Okay.
This is you're giving me enough here, and I appreciate it. As a 19 against.
Okay, and that'll be against this resolve, so that is successful. So,
All right, so this is what I do. I pull off my face mask, and then I give it my best. Eyes roll back into the head, zombie shriek, and it happens in a way in which I use my body's nastiness generally to unhinge my jaw, and my jaw goes like all the way down here.
All right, so yeah, you kind of overextend yourself, and you feel, sending out this entropic force towards this rock. It kind of drains you. So basically, you're suffering from one level of fatigue, which means essentially everything you do out of combat would be at disadvantage 1. So anything that's not attack rolls or boon invocations are Any standard checks are at disadvantage 1. But you do successfully fear it. The rock cries out. It looks like it's looking around frantically, like it wants to get out of dodge.
And like as soon as its head is turned, my jaw falls onto the ground. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah. I think it would be very easy for Talia and Brother Richard to see that. If you want to possibly see that, Oryon, you can maybe sideways see it or something happen if you so desire. But if
What a jaw-dropping display.
Yeah.
what would Glomus like to do, Luthka? And then Talia, you'll be right behind. Okay, so Glomus continues to distract the creature.
Talia, for the most part, she's pretty much convinced that this thing is going to try to run. So she's just going to bolster Oryon again with resistance just in case it decides to lash out and attack before it leaves.
Okay. Then
32.
Oryon, you'll be right after that. Wow, yeah, that is definitely successful. So you were giving resistance to who was it?
Oryon.
Okay. So that gives you +6, I believe, with the 32. So all your defenses.
I thought that the original +3
No, plus.
went away because.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But now you have +6.
But, okay, because the roll's so high, it's a +6. Got it.
Right, she got the higher power level. All right, and what would you like to do, Oryon? You actually have a major action this time.
Yeah. every other turn. So the birds. I mean, what I was going to do was fear, but that's already been done.
Right.
I guess in that case, I'm going to try to. Well, let me ask you. So, what is it? Restoration. Does restoration count for an exhaustion point? Or like
you can use restoration to heal fatigue or exhaustion. Yes. You can only do that once per day.
Okay.
You can.
I will wait until maybe after combat for that. Well, I will try to heal Glomus though.
Okay. He's a little hurt.
A little bit.
And yeah, you're still within reach of so you don't invoke any of that. I think Brother Richard is going to try and hammer into this thing again. And so roll power level 1, so that's a D4, exploding D4, for how much you... Ooh, 30, hey, actually, more than minimum damage done to the rock. So yeah, just an exploding D4 for how much... Well, he's only down 1 hit point, so you heal Glomus to 15. Luthka, Alform. What would you like to do as this rock is looking like it wants to fly away? Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll to try and do some more damage to this rock before it tries to frantically fly away. we'll say that deals minimum damage to it. It proceeds to flap its wings, and its only concern is to get as far away as it can in this round, which is just flying, and it actually gets pretty far away. It can fly pretty far. It does have evasive footwork for doing swiping attacks, basically, so you don't get attacks of opportunity against it, but it flies. It only has one move action because it's stunned, so it gets about 60 feet up and away from you guys, as it is going pretty fast to fly. It is going. Now, it technically gets a thing for fear. Let's see if it can actually throw it off at the end of its turn. Technically it does, but it looks like it is still planning to head away. Now, it is still within 60 feet of most of you. So, actually, I think 50 feet is probably your max range for most of you right now. So, it's probably out of range for you to do attacks unless you pull out like a crossbow or a certain gun. But that's basically we're out of combat unless you wish to attack it. I mean, that probably flashes through Orion's mind. I can't reach it, but I can reach it with this.
Oh, it's been going through my mind this entire combat. It's like, no, just let it fly up just a little bit.
It's a safe distance away from everyone else.
Yeah. I still think getting out of combat, if the bird was coming at him, he has a sense of honor. The bird's retreating.
Okay.
Let it retreat. Yeah.
So basically...
It's not a harmless tree.
Yeah. So yeah, the rock flies away. Unless Luthka owl form is going to... I don't think you'll be able to keep up with the speed of the rock, but does Luthka try being angered at Glomus being attacked, try and chase after? Those commands are not doing anything. Cool. Yeah. Because probably eventually... Well, actually, let me see if... Shakes... Oh, is stunned for a full minute. That's rough for this rock. But it'd still be able, with its 60 feet movement, it would still keep ahead of you. So yeah, the rock basically flies off. You guys have successfully shaken it enough, done enough damage to it, done some crazy jaw-dropping shenanigans to it that it does not desire to be around you anymore, and goes in search of easier prey. So you guys are breathing heavy. Roach, you're feeling sapped a little bit as you attempt to attach your jaw, and the Baron says, "Ha-ha! Success! Good job, my allies." Kind of claps you. You're muted, Roach. Or are you just trying to get your jaw working?
I'm just feeling it back out.
Gotcha.
Talia floats down back to the ground, and her wings kind of fold up into her, kind of surrounding her, and then you can see the energy just kind of almost seem to seep back into her skin.
That was quite an impressive thing you did there, Talia.
Oh, well, I thought it looked really cool. It might scare away the rock, animal instincts at all. But I think Roach really got it, though. That was very jaw-dropping, Roach. You quite
Ugly.
intimidating.
Oh yeah, I guess. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing that I can do that.
Well, I have to give you a hand there. I hand it to you. It's very impressive.
I was impressed right back. If I didn't know any better now, I would definitely think that you were some kind of angel. You could probably fool someone into believing that.
looks extremely, her eyes light up. Oh, that'd be a really good disguise when we get to the city of gods.
That's a valid point.
Does Luthka remain in owl form, flying overhead? Okay. So you see the larger than normal owl flying overhead, kind of surveying the area as you guys are recovering from this battle. Brother Richard probably walks around helping to heal. He actually kind of looks at Glomus, looks and says, I could probably heal these deep talon cuts, but it would require a minimum of an hour of my focus and time to seep into the deep wounds.
Maybe not when there's people that we know actively sort of looking like they're hunting us.
Maybe wait till we make camp next.
Nods their head. So you all choose to continue walking for at least the remainder of this night to see how far you can get. You are slowed down, not too much from Roach right now, but it is still code. It's still code. It's cold, and the sand is still blasting from the wind. So I do need everybody to go ahead and do fortitude. Again, Roach, you can avoid this because of your ascetic, if you desire. I actually should have had Brother Richard and Baron do that. They don't get a free pass. Actually, Baron might, but since he is from around here, give him an advantage. Yep, no problem.
Talia is not doing very well.
Yeah, 14 is the number to hit here. Oh, so the two people who didn't pass last time didn't pass this time. So, yeah, Glomus already from the deep wounds, maybe helping to further complicate it, and Talia being small of stature and frame. Both now have a level of exhaustion, or fatigue, which is basically exhaustion. Let me have Brother Richard here. See how he does. Well, he exploded on his D20. Didn't do so hot on the next one, though, but he's still fine for now. All right, so fatigue for Glomus and Talia now.
I'll actually use restoration for Talia to take away that exhaustion point.
Okay. And you're using protection to do that, right?
That is creation.
Oh, you have creation as well. Yeah. So, yeah, you should be able to do that without problem. I'll have you actually go ahead and roll it for this. Now you can restore multiple people, right? It's just one person can only benefit from restoration once a day. So you can individually cast restoration on different people, right? Is what I'm telling you.
Okay, yeah.
Then, and Brother Richard can assist you. He sees that you're doing it, so he kind of lays a hand on you, so you get advantage. Because he's able to do that as well.
I'll go over there too, because I think we're hugging suddenly.
Technically, you need a 20 to succeed.
Technically?
Technically. Because fatigue is a power level 5 bane.
Okay.
But you have time and stuff like that. So you should... 18 is close enough. I'm more looking to see if you got a bad roll to not succeed. So Talia, you're kind of shivering and feeling the effects, and Oryon kind of comes over as he's done many times in the past. And do you say any words to her as you do this, or?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna, I'm gonna throw a blanket over Glomus for sure. Just, kind of saddlebag it a little bit, and then go over to Talia and breathe just a little bit of flame kind of into my palm. Just make like a just tiny little heat source, and put another blanket over her shoulders and just try to warm her up for a second. Just kind of get the hands warm, rub the shoulders, and then just maybe give her a little bit of water if she's feeling exhausted as well.
All right. So, yeah, Talia and Glomus, you guys are able to recover a little bit from the fatigue from the day of traveling that was starting to set in.
I'd imagine Talia takes the little bit of fire that Oryon holds out and kind of captures a little bit of it to make it like a tiny little hand warmer as she walks.
Do you attempt to do anything for Roach, or do you leave Brother Richard to take care of that?
Huh?
For Oryon.
Is Roach... I thought she did all right for her role.
She did. Fine. She has fatigue for another reason.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Don't worry about it. Fine. It'll heal up in the morning.
If I can target multiple, it would be rude of me to leave Roach out. So yeah, I think I'll go and like try to relocate her jaw a little bit, knowing what I know from my hospitaler and healing. I'll just kind of.
What a nice guy.
Hospitaler gives you another advantage.
Oh, does it? I thought that was only for.
I think it's specifically for Restoration Boon. Hospitaler gives you. I might be remembering it wrong.
No, you're right. Yeah, advantage anytime you attempt to invoke the Restoration Boon. So yeah.
So go ahead and roll for her separately, since hers is for a different reason.
So just the one advantage, or am I still invoking Brother Richards?
Yeah, Brother Richard would go over. And I'm kind of picturing this is happening as you guys are setting up camp, which I'll have you roll to see how well of a camp you locate here in just a second. Okay, 24, yeah. So as the power kind of channels through Brother Richard and stuff, the exhaustion and overextension that you felt kind of, helps be lifted off of you. So you're feeling a lot better. So who wants to roll for locating a campsite as the sun is starting to rise?
I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. That last fight, got a little bit of my power back.
I'll help you. I also have the observant trait.
Okay. So you can just use that right now if you want to secure a safe, well-hidden location. It'll be your one use.
I would like to use it, but I also don't want to overshadow Roach.
Oh, no, please. I'm curious to see what you can do.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use that. Let's see.
All right. So generally you don't have to actually even roll with that, potentially, because you're just trying to use it to spot, a good location. So your eyes are kind of scanning, and you see this particular like dune that's actually a partial dune overlap, as well as some natural rocks that are underneath the sand that help make it a little bit more secure location. And so yeah, you spot that with your elven eyes.
Roach, why don't you check out that dune over there? It looks like it might be a little safe.
Enhance.
Yeah, she's spotted a really good location.
Perfect. Well done. That away.
Thank you.
So yeah, you guys are setting up camp. Brother Richard kind of spends some time with Glomus as you after the restoration happens, and after an hour, he's able to heal the lethal damage since it was only 3. So Glomus is able to go back up to full. So you can put lethal damage back down to 0 for Glomus, Luthka. And yeah, you guys are able to rest. You still got that worry that there's some people maybe following you. The heat of the battle and then the moving on you might not have been actively searching for them, but we'll find out at the start of next session what's going on with that. So while I'm thinking about it, legend points. Did anybody invoke any of your flaws during the session in a detrimental way to you or the party?
Talia couldn't resist that.
Yes, that definitely complicated things a little bit. So you can mark a legend point for exploring those. I was hoping you were going to do that, and I would have probably nudged you if you hadn't done it yourself.
I didn't have to. I was just rolling poorly today anyway.
It happens. All right, and does anybody want to recommend somebody for a particular RP during the session today? Something you really
Roach,
liked or enjoyed?
Roach exploding and then the subsequently putting them back together was quite entertaining. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was good.
And definitely Talia for the sand dive. That was very on character. Just to touch magical runes.
Maybe if I just poke it hard enough, it'll do something.
Well, you know.
I also wanted to nominate Talia for her ribbony wings and just the creativity that she uses every time she plays with only summoning, conjuring like one thing, but doing everything with those one things is very cool.
Yeah, that was definitely a cool visual moment rising up to, and it definitely helped that and Roach's dislocating jaw helped the rock not stay in that fight. Man, I can't believe it rolled so bad to resist stunned.
I'm definitely going to throw one towards Luthka as well, for definitely keeping up the whole vengeance arc, especially as the rock tries to pick up their companion, Glomus. Definitely, and then even following the enemy from then on, that was really cool. Plus, I really like the idea of, as we're traveling at night, like a giant owl with night vision flying above. I think that's awesome. So I want to see more shape shifting because that's really cool.
Yeah, the owl actually has pretty good perception at night for sure.
Yeah. With Glomus too.
Yeah.
Give Glomus a legend point as well there, Luthka.
I just want to say good job on keeping up with us all via text.
Yes. Yeah, that's always hard to be stuck with having to type, but you guys did a good job. So, anything else? Anybody you think of?
I've got Derek, well done, A+ defensive tactics. That's a note that I made.
Yes.
You are using everything that is at your beck and call, and that's very impressive to watch you do that. The defend interrupts, still haven't completely wrapped my mind around it, but watching you, I think I might have it now. So appreciate that.
I can't hit anything, but I can get hit.
You can get hit so good. The best. You're the best at that.
I get hit so good.
And GM, I wanted to say thank you, for being patient with us and re-explaining things and helping us learn the system. And when we don't have ideas, suggestions, thank you so much for doing that. And I also wanted to say I really liked the scene between Talia and Brother Richard when she's found him asleep also. If I could give a legend point to a DM.
Yeah, go ahead and give me some legend points. I'll be sure to use those.
Yeah,
I give it to the Baron.
I have to say the NPCs you've come up with are absolutely fantastic. I love how the roles even go so well with the role playing for each of them, like the personalities and the traits that you gave them and the roles that they've been doing all mesh so well. It's so beautiful. So good job.
Yeah, that singing rapier of Baron's is doing a pretty effective job there, for sure.
Even more than that, I mean, when you ask about Orion's background, you're engaging with the characters, you're building story. I think, A plus plus.
Yeah, I definitely want to draw that out more. See what interesting facets we can come up with. Hopefully next week we'll have better internet for Talia, and hopefully Luthka will be able to get fully on with voice and all that working. But we'll see. So we'll be back next week. Before we close out, I want to thank a few people. Thank, of course, our supporters. We've got our Patreon supporters and our Twitch subscribers, which help make the Greyhawk channel possible. It lets them have some awesome moderators and information available over on their Discord and all of that. So definitely check out the Discord, by the way, if you haven't. You can hop on over. Lots of friendly folks. It's the Discord is freely available to everybody, but there are certain sections of it that are hidden away for just Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers. So make sure you check that out. And of course, we want to say thanks to Roll20. They help support us with their virtual tabletop and lots of awesome assets that are available there. The background you're seeing in the map, this is Heroic Maps, which is one of our sponsors. So they have a library of more than as I hit the mic. Sorry about that. Over 300 maps available on DriveThruRPG. So be sure to check them out. You can find, I found these desert maps. They've got all sorts of different settings and themes, and it all you can find just about anything you need for a battle to go on there. And Tabletop Loot, I'm speaking real well today. Tabletop Loot is which you can visit at tabletoploot.com, and when you're purchasing dice from them, you can get a 15% off code if you enter in Greyhawk to the coupon code, which is a capital G and capital H, GREYHAWK, Greyhawk there. And then, of course, for those hidden channels I mentioned in the Discord, Twitch subscribers and Patreon supporters, you can get access to codes for ruinc.com, which is Devin Rue, who does cartography. Got lots of, not just maps, actually. I didn't mention that earlier, but there's other little tidbits like little flags and lots of other things. Just go check out that site. And then Cantrip Candles for awesome smelling goodness to help inspire you while you're playing or while you're creating or doing whatever. There's lots of good smelling candles from them. So I think that's everything for our thank yous. So let's go to our players, give them some shout outs where else you might be able to see them on the interwebs, if anywhere. So we'll start with Casey.
I'm Casey H. I've been Roach the Necro Ninja. If you want to catch me elsewhere, you can follow me on the Twitters, see where I'm going to be. I bounce between here and the Gratuitous RP channel.
And then we've got Time Bust, who's currently typing away a message for all of you. Clearly, you can find Time Bust at Time Bust on Twitter. Actually, while they're typing, I'll go ahead and let Derek go.
Yeah, don't mean to jump. If you finish typing, go ahead and just hit enter. Yeah, I have been Derek Sword. You can find me on Twitter at dsword16. There I post about RPGs, dogs, travel, all the fun stuff. While I am not a small creator myself, I definitely want to throw it out and say that we have some awesome small creators, not only on this show, but all throughout Greyhawk. Definitely support them. They make amazing things that are made with love, care, and made just for you. On that note, I have been your Dragonborn Protective Paladin. Good at getting hit, and looking forward to getting hit some more next week.
And then, so as Time Bust is mentioning there, our Luthka, their name is Belial Laika, and you can find them at Time Bust on Twitter, like I just said a moment ago. And then we've got Talia, or Eris.
Hello, I'm Eris Savad. I've been the voice of Talia today, Talia the Invisible. And yeah, I make a lot of fabric goods, You can find me on Twitter at Eris_Savad, like it says down below this beautiful picture by Linda Lithian. And actually, this weekend upcoming, I will be vending at Gex Convention in Dulles, Virginia, at the Dulles Expo Center. So if you go to my website, erisavad.com, and you see something you like, you might be able to buy that this weekend at my table and come visit me and my best friend as we unveil a bunch of wonderful things. I can't wait.
Very cool. Yeah, there's lots of cool creations. You just recently unveiled some pencil pouches, not necessarily just pencils, but
yes, I'm calling them utility rolls because
yeah, because you could put all
useful.
sorts of that size stuff in it. So
pencils, brushes, whatever.
Indeed. And I am Great Mustache on Twitter, great_mustache. You spelled the British way because I liked how it looked. So I went with that one at the time. And I also am on Twitch at The Great Mustache, no spaces or underscores, where I do stream some other games. I've got, we're actually just switching it from Tuesday nights to Wednesday nights, where it is a fantasy type game, but with airships, recent technology and stuff like that going on. And then on Thursdays, there's 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on type of schedule. There's Venture League, which is some players in a big city at a Venture League guild doing adventures and causing me mayhem all the time. So there are those games you can check out of Open Legend as well that I run. And I think that's about it. So we will see you all next week. Same time, same channel. All that fun stuff. Bye.